Hey guys, it's me again, here with Jeff.
Hey guys.
He allowed me to come on again to show another deck.
No, we're blessed to have you, man. We love having you here, and we're super excited to see what you have cooked up for us this time.
Thanks. So this one is Wargrey. It's not gonna be your typical Wargrey, just like Ancient Wisemon isn't typical at all. After playing that locals that I was talking about against Quartzmon,
Yeah,
and Death X, like did a lot of tweaking because this is the deck I played that night. And I was super salty. I was so salty. I played against insects with quartz, and then D Brigade,
yeah,
or they just Darkmon and quartz, and I'm like, and then Death X on top of that. I'm like, and then on the side, I'm like, cool. Trying to get my ties out, trying to play, trying to do literally anything.
Trying to get set up, yeah.
And then they're just like Death X. I'm like, okay, so I can't. I'm gonna search. It's gonna get popped.
Yeah.
They're gonna swing, even though I have 3 or 4 ties out. Whatever Tamers they have, like it's just a mess. So I did some tweaking, and guess what, guys? Removal's back, baby.
Removal is back. Let's go.
Been a while since we've seen some good removals, because guess what? Hades Force is just not enough. It does not get the job done. So let's get into it. So obviously, make this deck work, you need your Gaioumon.
Yep.
Gaioumon, you know, with the new Agumon, you need these, or else you're going to be paying 1 in the raising, which you don't want to do.
Yeah, that can be quite unfortunate.
Yeah, so it's kind of a mess. So you got your Agumon, the new Agumon. Very, very good searcher. Like I said, it's 0 on a Gaioumon in raising. So some people, I think you play this in your yellow Wargrey deck, right?
Yeah. It's just a great Agumon. The good search. I mean, yes, the 1 cost sucks, but having Koro makes it free.
Right. And then so yeah, reveal top 4 on play. Reveal top 4. Add 1 tie and 1 Omnimon or Greymon in name. And then the inheritable alone is just insane.
Oh yeah.
Plus 1K.
Yeah.
All turns.
Awesome.
The first time I think red has gotten something like that.
Yeah, especially like all turn DP buff like that. Normally red's just on your turn.
Well, that's where they got the black from, is because black allows you to do that. And of course, the other searcher Agumon. The classic one that's in all the top decks. So just simple search there.
Crazy how many staples BG5 gave us with like these searchers of that Agumon.
Right. Like searching is just so good because I mean, ultimately you're gonna lose that Digimon, but you get the grab maybe 2 pieces if you're lucky.
Yeah.
And so that cuts out thinning your deck in any card game is huge.
Oh yeah.
Draw is huge. Like if you're newer to card games, period, always thin out your deck. Always search, because that's the less cards you have to look for. Obviously, body.
Makes so much
Another
sense.
searcher. So if you're blessed to have the memory, or they don't delete this, you just go here, search again. And then we got one little guy, one little altar here.
Just one. I love it. I do
just
love
because
that.
I don't know. I like to have that one off. I used to use a 2-drop Agumon that's like what, 4K.
Yeah.
Just because people aren't expecting it, and it's easy to choke. One of the level 4s, obviously the restricted card, Greymon X Antibody.
Makes so much sense.
Gotta get that out of the way early, because there's a reason why that card's restricted.
Yeah.
I personally don't think it needed to be restricted.
Yeah.
I know we've had that conversation before. I mean, to me personally, I think it's been much disputed with others, but I believe that the Gaioumon is guilty of the same crime.
Yeah.
You just get to simply Digivolve for 1. I mean, yeah, I guess the inheritable is pretty good, but so is Gaioumon's inheritable. So just saying. I'm only playing 2 of these guys.
Okay.
I mean, security check is nice. I feel like there's better options.
Okay.
I know it's just so tight to fit which
I see
the Greymon you want to play.
Yeah.
The right Greymon. There's no wrong Greymon, really. I mean, heck, I was even playing back in the olden days, the black Wargrey line.
Yeah.
Give you jamming, security +1, all that. If it had like reboot, the reboot blocker Wargrey was insane. But yeah, so just a couple of those. Because the other thing too is like people don't really have access to these. I mean, yeah, it was in that pre-release, but these came in the starter deck that were like $50 for the longest time.
Yeah.
I don't know what they are now, but like, a $10 starter deck became $50 because of this card alone. And you only got 2 in the starter deck too, so it was just wonky. But the Gaia Force is 2, and luckily they got a reprint. But then I'm also playing only 2 of these because it goes 2 on Agumon in name, but ultimately you only need to use it 1.
Gotcha.
Because if you to play the inheritable is nice, but to play a tie out, ultimately you only need the 1. because it's not fun getting 4 in hand.
Yeah.
And you're like, cool, I get to use the on Digivolve once.
Yep.
Okay. I do like these in there. I like taking these in.
That one makes a lot of sense for sure. You gain the memory back.
Yeah, so if they have a memory blocker, guess what? You're not getting that back. But you do get it back because guess what? Rotated out mostly. Memory blockers.
Yeah.
Nobody plays them. They can just get popped too easily. Like, Black has had the worst memory choker in Gaioumon at 1K.
At 1K compared to the blue and purple for sure.
Yeah, everything has like 2 or 3, I believe. And it's like literally anything, just one swing, minus 1K on that. Okay.
Yeah.
See a Gaioumon, and then I'm going to gain all my memory. And yeah. So, I like those two. I know a lot of top decks are actually playing like 4 around Worlds and stuff like that just because of that memory gain. And plus, the swing of our big bodies or big security checks to get that extra.
Plus 2K is nothing to laugh at. That's really strong.
Yeah, and like this, I mean, these plus 1K makes sense with the tie that's coming up that gives blocker and plus 1K. So it makes sense, but like I just like to be able to ramp up a little faster because then obviously you have the Gaioumon X antibodies. Protection, I mean, always use protection. Can't get bounced, can't get returned the deck, can't get deleted. So you just strip the sources, keep your dude out. And I'm only playing one of this. We just talked about it, but the Metal Greymon. The issue I have with playing multiple is ideally by the time, I mean, in a game like this, especially with this deck, if you're searching out your ties and you're using these, ideally you're already going to have a couple ties out.
Got it.
Especially if they've swung in security a couple times. Hopefully they've checked some. So like, I mean, I know what's good. I've even goofed around about taking in the Tai and Kari.
Yeah.
Because it's Tai Kamiya in name. So it's very important.
So you could play that too. That makes a lot of sense.
Read cards, folks. None of us ever read our cards ever. So there's always stuff we miss. But that's very, very important, especially if you want to make a silly deck or an offset deck. Like, like I said, play that Tai and Kari. So yeah, you can use that card as well. But like sometimes there's also nothing to raid.
Yeah.
They go all in. What are you raiding against? So you lose that trigger, and it's very frustrating. Coming back with the classic here, probably one of the best level 5s, Metal Greymon.
Oh yeah.
After
that card is broken.
Well, after playing against that night, the Digivolve is huge. Yeah, they can just do it again, but you're gonna tie up the resources, or something like Bloom Lord.
Yep.
They have nothing but little bodies out. So you can Digivolve one of anything, especially if it's like they're doing their Digizorb.
Yeah.
If you can get rid of that and slow them down just a little bit, Bloom Lord hurts from that. Especially if you're popping their bodies. Cause they need...
Yeah, because that also has deletion on it, right?
Yeah, so Digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon and then pop something 3K or less. And that's all that deck has.
Yeah.
It's just little bodies. I think the biggest level 5 is maybe 8.
Yeah.
If I remember right.
But
even then, like the level 3s, level 4s, even the level 4s are 3K.
Yeah, most of the 4s are
Vegimons.
3Ks. Yep, Vegimons.
So it can really, really slow that deck down a lot, especially, and it seems like it's very expensive to pay for, but ultimately, with the new tie, you can gain that memory back, and it's Tamer effect, so it can't be blocked. I'm taking in one of these. I love
that.
I like it because it's 0 cost to Digivolve on here.
Yep.
It is a 3 cost, so if you actually need to go into your level 4s off of this, like it's not the end of the world, because if you have any memory setting tie, it's still your turn. The biggest thing is though, you do want it on here because you get the other effects. So it's already gonna get +1 security.
Okay.
And then, but you have to have the Metal Gray or X antibody underneath to get that +3K.
Got it.
But I mean, that 1 security on here is pretty big, so you're already swinging for 3 checks. And just 2 of these. I should probably play 4. Honestly, I've thought about it. My thing here is outside of like this deck in particular. I mean, there's really nothing de-digivolving anymore.
Yeah.
Like you may hit DG Dimension, but it's not gonna really get rid of anything. Especially if you have like X antibodies, it's not gonna get rid of this.
Correct.
And DG Dimension is expensive.
Yeah.
So they're not gonna
cost.
Yeah, they're not gonna hard drop it. Maybe. But even if they do, you have some protection here. So if you still have a level 5 out, like, you're good. And like, I mean, like, the inheritable here, and like, I remember back when this card got restricted, we talked about this should have been the card to get
Yeah,
restricted.
that's almost how I felt.
I was on the same boat because I'm like, it's not even the when digivolving effect, it's the inheritable.
Yeah.
Like anything becomes unsuspended on opponent's turn. So even if for whatever reason you're playing a different Wargrey, which I have in here, that doesn't reboot when their Digimon becomes unsuspended, they trash. Like it's just really crazy to me. But I guess now with Quartzmon in effect, like trashing security isn't out of the world because like we've had trashing effects from like from BT 1.5 when Gaioumon came out.
Yep. That was I think the first card that trashed security, if I remember right. So.
And then you have Gaioumon, the black one.
Yeah.
That if you blow up a level 7, if you don't trash your opponent's security.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. So we've had the mechanic, but it's just become so rampant. It feels like lately.
Yes.
Especially now because the new Gaioumon does the same thing. You don't blow up. If you don't blow up a 6K when attacking, you trash security.
That's what happened to me at locals on Wednesday. Was Beelzemon X antibody. Trashed my last 3 security and then won the game, and I was like, "Really? Okay."
Yeah, well, and like people argue about Crimson Gallant, but it's like there's if you haven't played a Gaioumon deck, play a Gaioumon deck, and you understand like if you get to that point, it's great. It's a reward because it's so difficult to get there. But yeah, those are my 5s. Like I'm pretty happy with it. 'Cause like I said, nothing's really digivolving.
Yeah.
And you get the Papa Body.
That makes sense to me. I like
it. And so here's my little spice for this deck. The promo Wargrey.
Ooh, okay.
Because ultimately you're hoping to have a Tamer out, but his when attacking is pretty good. Because you're gonna reduce or you're gonna gain the memory back, phrasing. Hopefully from digivolving into him. And then his when attacking is delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 4,000 or DP or less, which. Okay, I mean, like, that can get rid of little dudes, but the big one is when digivolving. Because if you have a Tamer in play, delete 113k or more.
That's huge.
So, I mean, you can, you're hoping if there is a quartz on the board, you're hoping to, swing into it ultimately. So hopefully you're going to have the line to make him beefy enough. But if not, you could pop it and then hit stack for like 18k or whatever it's going to be. But I like that a lot because of Death X, because of Quartzmon, because of any other level 6 Beelzemon X.
Yeah.
So it's a very good tech card. And plus, it's gonna get plus if you don't swing and you just play it for the blowing up, you can still choke your opponent because you don't have to tap the tie. So if you're able to set your opponent to 1 or 2 and then pop something, but you can still give it blocker plus 1k. So it's like okay. Then you have I'm only playing 3 of these. The Raid Wargrey.
Ooh, okay. There he is, the boss.
Yeah, I mean, when digivolving plus 3k and reboot is huge. I mean, so he's already 15k.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Just from him digivolving, 15k. All turns. So this is very important. If you're playing a mirror, if you're playing against Gallantmon, if you're playing against Imperial, this is a very, very important card. You need to read it, like I said earlier. Because all turns, when attack is switched, unsuspend this Digimon.
Wow.
So that also means if you have another body on board and you declared that blocker with a tie.
Got it.
If they try and raid here, you can declare blocker. This becomes unsuspended if for whatever reason, like the next turn he is suspended.
Yeah.
So it's whenever a target is switched. So that's very, very, very important in this card. And I think that's what it's going to separate like, top tier players to like your casual player, somebody who's just like not reading cards. Because we see that at every local.
Yeah.
Those people who just want the deck to pilot themselves, and then you have those who are like, no, excuse me, and that's why don't ever be afraid to ask to read your opponent's cards. If you don't know what they do, say, may I ask first. Don't just take their card. Say, may I please read that, or may I, and like kind of point out the card. 9 times out of 10, they're gonna say yes, or sometimes you'll just flip it and be like, please don't touch my cards. Please respect people's belongings. Don't just take it from them.
Yeah.
Hope your mom's taught you better. But yes, this is very, very critical. And it goes on 3 for Metal Greymon in name.
Yeah.
That's very important too, in name.
Yeah, definitely reducing that cost for sure is nice.
So that's huge. Because if you're playing a mirror and you had declared this blocker because it was your only body on board, I mean, they can't raid into this, but if you're able to like get a Shademon out.
Yeah.
Nobody's playing Shademon. Let's just put it out there. But like, if you were playing like a black line for this, which you can totally do, like I said, with the OG Greymon line, and you declared a blocker, target switch, this unsuspends. And then if they try and raid into it, well, he's still beefy from everything else, so they're probably gonna crash. I'm bringing back another boss man. Gaioumon.
Ooh.
So you might be saying, Jordan, there's no black or gray in this deck. I don't care. So Gaioumon is very, very good still. Like I mentioned before, Digivolve on Quartz is big. If for whatever they Digivolved into Death X, it's big. You need to stall your opponent. The name of the game is stall and swing. But the thing is, he can do both.
Yeah, he gets both. It's crazy. I mean, love that card.
With this support, I think this card is getting overlooked a lot. We mentioned the other night, like nobody's playing Black War. Yeah. I think you said on the video, nobody's playing actual Black War Gray.
Yeah.
And I think the deck is still, I think it's stronger. It's just people want to play new cards, which is fine.
Yeah. I think Black War Gray is going to totally make a comeback.
Right.
And I think regionals, right, as people get ready to tech against Hunters and people tech against Cross, because Cross is still going to be strong. Sure, Black War Gray is going to come back in some form, but now you almost have like a fracture. Like people are splintering off into different groups of what War Grays they like. Right. So
yeah, and I think, dude, just if you did Black War Gray, four of these, all these, it's an easy. It's basically you're basically playing the old deck. You just put in these options.
You just have new stuff, yeah.
And but I really like this card because it's so it's treated as having Black War Gray name, but like you get to when Digivolving, if it has black in its traits or in its Digivolution sources, Digivolve 1 on your opponent's Digimon, and then if it has red, Blitz. So guess what? It gets to do both. It's insane. So, and it gets security +1 and reboot.
Yeah.
I mean, security +1 and reboot alone is insane. But being able to have the other effects, it's crazy, and nobody's gonna see it coming. Like I said, like we just said, people are stuck. I mean, I could have played 4 of these, but I really, really like this, the Digivolve. Like,
I like that split. I really do like that split a lot.
And like this guy, like I said, just to take it in for, because like I said, removal's coming back. So with that being said, Merciful Mode.
Ooh, that makes a lot of sense.
After talking with Jesse and you, like you guys saw how angry I never get that frustrated, and I was extremely frustrated that night. Especially getting comboed by Death X and Omni.
Yeah, well, it's hard because like I was testing against Quartz, and all I had was a Blitz Omni in hand, and I can't use it because it doesn't get to unsuspend. So I think there are people who are starting to shift now to Merciful Mode, like you're doing, right, for that reason. It's like, okay, I gotcha.
And like the thing is, this is gonna be insanely good against Hunters, because I don't remember any of their names. I didn't watch the show. Sue me. I'm stopped at Tamers. That's how old I am. But you get to put 10 cards back into their deck, which they need those. So if you're able to pop their quartz and then bottom deck it, and actually you get to pick the order, right?
Yeah. Yep. You're the one who gets to pick the order that you bottom deck.
So you bottom deck their quartz, and guess what? They can't bring it back with that purple Tamer.
Yeah.
So you can just leave Tamers in their trash, or if they have 10, put all 10 back. Because guess what? Now they got to start all over again searching for cards.
Yeah.
I'm playing 3 of this guy. Don't miss your start of main phase trigger, please, people. I mean, we were doing it in pre-release, and like we're pretty casual with pre-release because it's like we don't understand how cards work. We're still learning the rules, whatever. But start of main is very important, and don't let your opponent get away with that on Hunters either. So
yes. If you're like me, I have a little checklist on the side of my mat. I use the specific ones that say the 4 phases of the game, so that way I can do. So well, it's not cheating because it's part of the mat, right? It says active, then it says draw. Then it says raising, and then it says main. So I just look, and I go, okay, before I, Digivolve on my level 2 in the raising area, let me trigger my start of main phase abilities.
Right. And, like, not only that, but, like, what I have found out is, like, even if you hatch, that's or Digivolve on the egg, that's considered your main. So
you're now in the, yep.
So
like, I struggle with that too with Hunters, right? I'll be like, going, I'm thinking like, oh, I'm gonna save this level 3, so don't tuck it under my Tamers, and then I do it, and I just missed all my triggers.
Right. So it's either you hatch or you raise. That's it. Anything else, it's your main. So this is very, very important, especially if you're at high level play, which some of you are, I would hope.
Yeah. You got some killer.
You gotta do that, and then you also get the on play. So I mean, if you're able to play it off of one of these, you do get the on play. So it's one of your Gaioumon or Wargreymon in name gets blocker, and until the end of your opponent's turn, and +1K. So that's why I was saying, like, it's very like him. Any of these with reboot.
Yeah.
Declare them your blocker. They get reboot. They restand. They're gonna trash if you have that underneath. But they're gonna restand. They're gonna be beefy, and they're gonna be blockers. And so, if you're lucky enough to have 2, you may block for one another because he is 13k. So you're paying, you're paying for that, but like the effects outweigh like the cost of the Digivolve. Like it's insane how cheap that is.
And it's 13 without considering your other inheritables.
And you could reduce it.
Yeah.
Again, this is you gain a memory. You don't reduce costs, so it gets around like somebody's playing it, the Gaioumons, or I think it's Cutemon is another one.
The Siakumon for blue, the shell, whatever.
Yeah. So you gain a memory because it's a Tamer effect.
Yeah, and the memory stoppers don't work for Tamers.
Right, and it says, and in this one it says Greymon or Omnimon, so you're going to reduce this cost too, and reduce your Greymons like this. I like as much as I like to play, I can kind of see why, because like you could just get free Digivolves, but again, Gaioumon can do it for 1. Just saying. Little spice here. I'm playing the black ties. The
that
OG
makes sense.
ties.
Okay.
Especially
Well, you have the search for it, right? Like I get it.
It was just a hard pick between this and the red tie, because the reason why I didn't pick red tie is because you can still get the sources stripped.
Got it. Yep. Or if you're like trying to save for protection, right? Because you got Greymon X antibody.
Right. There's so much that gets rid of obviously in 1.5 there's nothing I don't think really getting rid of sources.
Yeah.
So red tie made sense. But ultimately you're gonna have something here because nobody's playing Hexablow either. So even if it's just a body, like they may stun your board. I think the reason why Blue Flare kind of rotated out isn't as strong is because you just have 1 stack.
Yeah.
And Blue Flare freezes if it has 2 or more.
Yep.
You have 2 or more out. So I really like this guy because he gets a plus 1k. So ultimately, like with this, he's gonna be 15, 16, all the other things. He could be easily be a 20k blocker. Like
that's insane.
And they're like, all right. And then like if you're lucky enough to be able to get him on top of it, there's the same turn, like 20 plus easy. So we got some old cards here, older. Hades Force, I like it just because if you did like switch targets and you want to blow up some Tamers, and he became unsuspended, so say you're at 0 memory or whatever.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to pay that 7. Because I'm not playing X antibodies in this deck. I'm not playing any Wargrey X antibodies because I don't want to lose these effects.
Yeah. You really like those.
That's also a big compromise. But for me, my play style, like I don't want to hinder. I like being, me, especially in pre-release. I love removal.
Yes.
Removal is huge. They can't do anything. There's very little being played right now that gives rush too. But like Hades Force is big. I mean, you're gonna pay the 7, but against hunters, you're gonna take out 4 Tamers. It's Gaioumon. So I mean, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, because like ultimately you want to get a watch guy, the whole watch dude, and then like you can get 3 other Tamers. So, me personally, I aim for the watch guy, obviously, because he's busted. And then the purple Tamer, because I don't want stuff coming back from trash. And then usually the yellow Tamer, because I don't care if they draw.
Yeah.
So if I can stall out long enough or hold on long enough, they're going to draw out.
Yeah.
That happened in pre-release, like, multiple times. So it's, one of those things to where, like, all right, well, you're going to beat yourself. And then, because guess what? People panic when they lose their, their primary resources. Because they're not reducing Digivolution costs off the Tamers. They can't minus stuff. They can't bring stuff back. Like,
they can't create that fat stack of inheritables that just beat
a Registramon for like 20k, 4 or 5 check. Like, dude, like these cards, and then they worked against your brother too, an Imperial. Like he couldn't get any memories. And then, his first check also delete one of your opponent's Digimon with type. Like he had 1 Imperial Dramon, the super big one. I don't remember. There's so many.
Yeah.
But he's like, oh, cool.
What do I do? Yeah. Like, how do I get out of this?
1 red memory boost, obviously.
Okay.
The only thing you're going to whiff on really is your Tamers in this.
Okay.
But it's not the end of the world because ultimately, hopefully, you're already going to have search these out or you're going to have some on board.
Yeah.
And that's why I really like the Blitz. Just in case for whatever reason you're not getting your Tamers. I think 5 is perfect. But you can also hold out long enough with some deletion effects. And then the removal, baby.
There we go.
3 Gaia Force.
I'm glad you're bringing this on the table.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm sick of Quartzmon. Yeah. I'm sick of Death X. I mean, I should have come back sooner. 1 check, and it's over.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the thing. It's a race. With Quartzmon being so rampant, and I had a debate with somebody. I was like, friend of the channel, I was like, dude, it can go in every deck. He's like, Quartzmon can't go into every deck. I was like, every viable deck right now, Quartzmon is in. You need to play. Even Joe, he's like, I feel girls playing too, but you almost need to, and it's like it can go in the green, it can go in the black, it can go into here because it's black, it can go into, like I said, it can go into D Brigade, like
especially everything being multicolor now. It's
exactly.
no longer just one color deck that gets that level 7.
Well, technically every color can play it because it's saving text.
True. Yes. Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
like every color can play. Yellow can play. Like it's insane to me they would make such a card like that and then leave it open also for Ultimate Cup, the one single color Ultimate Cup because it's green. So Bloom Lord just gets the win again, unrestricted. But the Hydramon is restricted, I think, for that.
Yeah. But Hydra is restricted to 1, but they're still Quartz, Bloom Lord, the rest of the deck. It's going to be insane.
Yeah, because you have all the bounce removal. Like it's wild. But that's why I brought these in, because if you're fortunate enough to have them check it, it's dead. Something is dead. Unlike this, to where it's highest play cost.
Yeah,
that's why I like these. I know they're the new art.
Good old reliable.
Me, but
it's
like
good old reliable is what it is.
Right? Like just put the meme up because like it's any Digimon, and it's the OG deletion, the very first removal we ever got, because it is starter deck 1, people. Yeah. Even though this is one that well, it's because it's the reprint, but it's the new art. But anyway, it's any Digimon, so like it'll help you if they think they're gonna get another check, with their second Digimon, you just pop it.
Yeah, but it's insecurity. Yep, absolutely.
And then also, if it's in your hand, don't be afraid to give your opponent that much memory if it clears board.
I had that happen to me. Where I was playing against D Brigade at locals. I get my big old Omnimon X antibody out. He gave me 8 to Iron Fist, won the game, right? Because he gave me so much memory, but the fact that he was able to remove that before just did so much damage to him. So exactly like you're saying, do not be afraid.
And the thing is, there's no rush here.
Yeah.
So it's a race between you and your opponent on this. That's where Merciful Mode really, really comes in handy, because, guys, it's okay to stay in raising if you really, really need to.
Yes.
Get your draw. Be willing to sack your pieces like this to search. That's why, there's, 12 searchers in this deck?
Yeah,
as many as I can get. You sometimes you need to make that compromise, and like if Quartz hits the board, it's a battle, man. It's an uphill climb, and like that's why I like this card a lot, because if they do have Quartz, guess what? It's dead. Come out of raising, just Digivolve here. Even if you need to do it on just this guy or this guy, like it's still getting blitz. It's still I mean, there's no inheritable here, and like you're not gonna get the reboot here, but who cares? You need that off the board. Period. Any big body. Even if you're playing a mirror match, Digivolving is gonna knock him down. 4K DP, and then you get to swing into it, and then you get the reboot and be a blocker. So try this out, test it. You can switch up the ratios. This is what I prefer, because I like the protection too. Just in case you are playing like some sort of mirror, they have some sort of removal, or you check your one stack checks Iron Fisted.
I definitely think removal is gonna be coming back for reasons you've been saying.
It's so crazy to me. They would because looking at Japan, the Japan format, it's like it's best of 1. We've established that.
Yes, guys.
But it's just, I don't know. Like, Susano was an issue. It wasn't even Susano was the issue. It was Mega Digivolution Fusion, whatever it was called. Because that was a race. Japan had to play the game of it's a race to 1. Whoever drops their card first, whoever draws the most and drops Susano wins. Period. Yep. And then now the reason why like a deck similar to this has been running crazy is because they finally got the promo. What is it? 1 Agumon? Is it promo? No, it's like promo 9.
Promo 9. It's promo 9. Yep.
Yeah, they finally got the promo 9 Agumon, and so that's why this deck has been going insane over there. But NA always has to change it up. English version always has to change it up. Always. Hallie has to make things because mulligans. I think NA and all the English people complained enough to where we got a mulligan, which was much needed. To me, it kind of kills, Mega Zoo, but
yeah.
But let me know what you guys think of this deck. Obviously you can toy with it, check the ratios, have some fun, and like me and Jeff, we're on the very similar to where we like bring back cards that like nobody plays, like this guy. Nobody plays this card.
Yep, nope, I know.
I played a Rise Grade deck with that card, and it was just ridiculous. And so, and like you just get little cool cards like this. I just wanted to splash that in because it was from a recent pack, but you guys have fun with it. Hopefully it gives you a sort of a good idea of what to expect, what to see. I feel like everybody here is saying these Gaia Forces right here, they're gonna be crazy. Hades Force, unfortunately, is probably gonna rotate out. I may be pulling those. It's just if it wasn't Hunters, they wouldn't even be in there.
Exactly, I agree.
Because what
Yep.
Deck uses Tamers outside of Hunters right now.
Cross is still gonna be big, but you're right.
Debatable.
Yeah, it's all about what's gonna happen. It's crazy to see what the future's gonna hold.
Yeah, but you always gotta hold it out for your OG Agumon, the #1 boy. I think he's been in literally every iteration of Digimon there's been because he's had such a following. But I'm very pleased with this deck. I like how it plays. I like the ramp. I never get caught up on like hard dropping stuff if I really need to. Because this deck you'll deck out fast. You will. Against your brother. If he hadn't bottom deck stuff and he's like, how'd you get more cards in your deck? It's like you literally just Imperialed me and bottom decked it. So I'm sitting, and luckily I had the security to withstand him because he didn't have any security pluses. But I'm sitting there hard dropping 5s, like choking him at 2, choking him at 3. And he just decked out because he's playing Vmon, Imperial Jamon. So it's a race because you're drawing all these. So ideally you're getting 2 cards off of this, 2 cards off of that if you're lucky, which here you're only getting the 1. And then like I'm not playing X antibodies, but you're still getting 1 off of that. Yeah. So that's already 12 extra cards on top of these 12 cards. And that's not digivolving.
Yep.
So you could really deck out fast. The deck is fast. You need to be able to just go all in. That's something I've struggled with as a player as a whole. Is I've lost games because I don't swing and their security's level 3s.
Yeah, because you just never know.
And so until removal becomes a big thing again, nobody's gonna be expecting it. Nobody's gonna be playing it.
Mm-hmm.
You may hit those 1-2 bottom decks like green. I think it's Ground Fang. Nobody's playing Ground Fang by the way, but you may hit like a Ground Fang or
Grando Soul,
Grando Soul, Giga Death.
Yeah.
Because Imperial is strong now. Can't wait to see Jacob's list. That'll be interesting.
Stay tuned for that, guys.
But yeah, so try it out, see how it works for you. If it doesn't work for you, make some changes. Do what's best for you. I mean, like I wouldn't blame you if you put 4 raid 1s in. My thing is like security control. You're not gonna raid anything.
Yeah.
And the thing is like this beats out Venusmon because who cares about the Wind Digivolving?
Yeah.
You still get the raid. Hopefully you don't have this underneath it, but. And I try to make this as best to hit all decks as much as I can. But yeah, let us know what you think. Let you know what you think of me. Probably, I mean, I won't lose any sleep over it, but I'll definitely check the comments. But yeah, make some changes, make some tweaks. I'd love to hear what you guys' ideas are to make this better or a version you're doing. But I hope this gave you some good ideas. If you bring some Black Wargrey back, make it beefy. Let us know because that would be sick to see, especially with these guys.
Yeah.
Or just tell me how much you hate that I didn't put X antibodies in it. Awesome. Well, thanks, Jeff. Thanks for having me on, and glad I could show off some decks.
Of course, guys. Stay tuned. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.